Greetings everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be discussing about the right of sale versus non-right of sale, and basically why I highly recommend that you always use a exclusive right of sale listing agreement opposed to any other listing agreements. The key word here is right of sale, and this is pertaining to the state of Florida. So we're going to be discussing about real estate contracts in the state of Florida and why I feel that the exclusive right of sale is the go-to listing agreement when you're listing a property. So before we begin, as you know, our company is Nizz Realty Inc., licensed in the state of Florida at the time of making this video, hopefully other states in the future. We pay all of our agents 100% of their real estate commission. More information about our company can be seen in the description below, or you can feel free to contact us for a free confidential consultation if you're interested in keeping 100% of your real estate commission. So more information in the description. For now, let's get straight into the video because that's probably why you're here and what you're concerned about. So exclusive right of sale. Now, I've seen a lot of realtors that I work with. A lot of times when they do a listing agreement, they'll send me the exclusive brokerage listing agreement. And I know it may look similar to the exclusive right of sale listing agreement, but there's a pretty big difference here. So let's talk about it real quick. The exclusive brokerage listing agreement. Now, there's a authority to sell property here. The first paragraph. Seller gives broker the right to be the exclusive broker in the sale of the real and personal property, collectively property described below. It talks about the terms, but here's the next paragraph here that's pretty important. Let's talk about this. Seller reserves the right to sell the property directly to a buyer without the assistance of any real estate licensee and, if successful, does not owe broker a commission. So, does not owe broker a commission. So the exclusive brokerage listing agreement. To simplify this, the seller, if they find a buyer on their own and then they facilitate that transaction and close the deal, you as the realtor, if you listed this property, did a listing agreement, listed the property, invested some time, photography, maybe anything else into the property, the seller can sell this to a buyer that they may find and they don't owe you a single penny. They owe you nothing because this is an exclusive brokerage listing agreement and because of the terms discussed here in this particular paragraph. So you could essentially invest money into photography. Maybe you paid $400 or $500 into some photography. Maybe it's a big listing and you invested more into a lot of photos and photography. Your time, what is your time worth to you? Time is money. You had to prepare the listing, prepare it in the MLS maybe and advertise it, take phone calls, relay information, go back and forth with emails to other realtors. You invested a lot of time preparing this listing and advertising it. Maybe you were doing this for months. Then the seller could find a buyer and close the deal, and they don't owe you a single penny because of this particular paragraph and because of this listing agreement. Now, this may be just my opinion, but I'm not interested in doing business like that if I'm going to be taking the listing. Maybe you feel otherwise. Maybe another realtor feels differently and they're going to use this type of listing agreement and take that risk. I don't recommend it. If you're going to, I feel that my time is important, and the way I address our agents and so forth and advise them, and even you in this video, is I believe your time is important too. So if you're going to be taking a listing, let's talk about right of sale. The exclusive right of sale makes it so that it doesn't matter who sells the property. When you have a listing contract, an exclusive right of sale listing agreement, or exclusive right to lease if you're doing rentals, that means it doesn't matter who sold the property, who rented the property, whether the seller found the buyer, whether another realtor found the buyer, whether you found the buyer or the tenant. It doesn't matter. The exclusive right of sale or the exclusive right of lease means that you're due your commission under any and all circumstances. Doesn't matter who sold the property. So this is how I recommend, if you're going to be taking listings, that you operate with an exclusive right of sale. And this particular contract is the one that I always highly recommend our brokerage uses. It's the transaction broker. So as you can see here, in one of our other videos we discussed about the transaction broker relationship, how I always suggest it. this particular listing contract, we also have another video on it. It's called the Exclusive Right of Sale Listing Agreement Transaction Broker. So you're operating as a transaction broker, and it's an exclusive right of sale. Because I feel, speaking for myself, if I'm going to invest the time in writing up a listing contract, negotiating with the sellers, probably meeting with the sellers most likely, and negotiating things, trying to um, have them do business with me and get the listing so that I could be the listing representative, listing agent. That takes time and money to do all that. Then they finally sign a listing agreement. Now I have to prepare the listing, get all the information about the property, advertise it in the MLS, the square footage, everything, public records, disclose all known things about the property. There's a lot of things that go into putting a listing together and putting it on the MLS. Now you got to take phone calls, respond to emails. You have to present all offers to the owners. All this thing takes time. And what is your time worth to you is the question. I know what my time is worth to me, but everyone's time is worth differently to each individual. So, in my opinion, if I'm going to be doing all of this, for the terms of the contract, I want to be doing my commission under any and all circumstances. I don't want to be doing all of this for 3, 4, 6 months, and then the seller may find a buyer directly. They want to sell to one of their neighbors, or they want to sell to a friend or a family member, or whatever the case may be. And then you're not due your commission. You wasted all that time and money investing into the property, and because you did this specific listing agreement, now you're not due any compensation, any commission. You walk away with nothing. And that could be, this is especially if you're working as a full-time realtor or trying to take the profession as a full-time career. That's something you definitely want to avoid. I don't recommend working for free and not getting paid for your time and your work. So, can this brokerage listing agreement be used? Is there certain circumstances where it could be used? Yes, it can be. In my professional opinion, I don't recommend it. Another realtor may feel differently. They may, like for example, if you have a client that says, no, I want to have the right to sell to, if I find the buyer on my own, and the seller may be able to persuade or convince the realtor, like, okay, I just really want the listing, so I'll do an exclusive brokerage listing agreement with you, and if you find the buyer, I'm do nothing. Maybe another realtor will agree to that. Me personally, if someone told me that, I wouldn't care if it's a $10 million listing, whatever the case may be. I personally would walk away from it. That's not worth my time, because that to me is to keep it professional and simple, it's just not worth my time. If someone doesn't want to do an exclusive right of sale, I'm not interested. I don't have to do business with that individual. I just take it as this is just business negotiations, and that's just not for me. But that's just me, in my professional opinion. You may feel differently. You may be willing to take this brokerage listing agreement like this and have those terms that the seller can sell to a buyer and pay you nothing. That's acceptable to you, and by all means, that's completely at your sole discretion and up to you. This is just my professional opinion, how I feel about the listing. So that's why I always recommend the exclusive right of sale or exclusive right to lease is also the other, for if you're doing rentals. And if I'm going to be taking a listing, I personally don't operate any other way, whether it's a commercial, agricultural, sale of a business. I always have the exclusive right of the sale or the exclusive right of the lease, because if I'm going to be investing my time into advertising, looking for a tenant, looking for a buyer, I want to be doing my compensation under any and all circumstances, regardless if the owner changed their mind and they found someone else or a neighbor contacted them, whatever the circumstances are. This is going to take my time and my money to invest into doing this listing, taking this listing, preparing this listing, advertising it, presenting all offers, everything, taking the calls, emails. I want to be doing my commission if I'm signing a listing agreement and investing my time into it. I take my profession seriously, and I recommend that anyone else does too, but under unique circumstances, depending on what you're looking to do, there may be other listing contracts that are for you. If you're part of our brokerage, as you know, with our policies, I always ask that if you're not doing an exclusive right of sale or exclusive right to lease, that you contact the company's broker to explain why you feel the need to do another type of listing agreement. And then we'll review the circumstances and see if we want to take that listing. But most of the time, we always operate as an exclusive right of sale. It's just, I feel that your commission is due to you if you're going to be taking the listing, if the property sells during the term of your contract from beginning to end. in the protection period also, within the contract if you fill out that paragraph. So that's the whole thing of exclusive right of sale. Hopefully this has been helpful to you and educational as far as in the state of Florida. And hopefully you use exclusive right of sales and you pay attention to your contracts that you're filling out. Don't just go through your contracts in your database and just pull up whatever listing agreement you could find because maybe you're excited or whatever the case may be. Maybe you've just been doing this for a long time. Because you have to read through your contracts, understand what they're talking about, understand what the terms are, and you just don't want to just put a listing together just to put a listing together and have someone sign something. Know what you're doing, know the contracts you're filling out, understand them, and definitely, if whenever possible, the exclusive right of sale or exclusive right of lease is what I highly recommend. It's not required, but me personally, in my professional opinion, I feel that my compensation is due to me under any circumstances if I'm taking the listing, regardless of who sells the property. I invest a lot of time into advertising the property, so that's the right of sale for you or the right of lease. And hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment or reach out to our brokerage. Hopefully this was helpful and educational. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.